What if everything you thought you knew about Meghan Markle's pregnancies was a lie? A bizarre video just surfaced that has media personalities like Piers Morgan and Jeremy Kyle finally speaking out about rumors that have been whispered for years. This isn't just celebrity gossip anymore. We're talking about potential constitutional implications that could shake the very foundation of the British monarchy. If you want to see how deep this rabbit hole goes, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because what I'm about to reveal will change everything you thought you knew about the Sussex family. The internet exploded when a deeply uncomfortable video went viral, showing Meghan Markle in what appeared to be a hospital room wearing all black, dancing and gyrating with what many viewers claimed looked like a fake baby bump. This wasn't your typical pregnancy announcement. It was bizarre, theatrical, and completely out of character for someone who once claimed to want privacy from the media spotlight. The footage showed Meghan in a dramatic black dress, moving in ways that made medical professionals and mothers across social media platforms question what they were seeing. She was bending, crouching, and performing dance moves that most women in late pregnancy wouldn't dream of attempting. The setting appeared to be a hospital room, but healthcare workers immediately pointed out inconsistencies that didn't add up. But this video didn't just reignite old conspiracy theories. It practically threw gasoline on them and lit a match. Suddenly, the whispered rumors about moon bumps and surrogate pregnancies that had circulated in online forums for years weren't just fringe speculation anymore. Mainstream media figures were openly questioning what they were witnessing. Piers Morgan, never one to hold back, took to X and delivered one of his most brutal takedowns yet. "We're about 2 months away from the sex tape," he posted, reflecting just how far public sentiment had shifted regarding the Sussex spectacle. His commentary went beyond just the video itself. He painted a picture of what he saw as an arrogant, bitter, and twisted little man who had been manipulated by a scheming lady from Los Angeles. Morgan didn't stop there. He described how the pair had embarked on what he called a wrecking ball mission to enrich themselves by exploiting the very institution that had granted them their titles. His words weren't just harsh. They represented a complete breakdown of any remaining diplomatic courtesy that had previously protected the Sussexes from such direct attacks. But what made Morgan's response particularly cutting was his analysis of the hypocrisy. Here was a couple who had claimed they left the UK to escape media scrutiny and protect their privacy, yet they were now creating the most theatrical and public displays imaginable. The contradiction wasn't lost on anyone watching. Jeremy Kyle wasn't any gentler in his assessment. Practically choking on air as he described the video, he compared it to something you'd see in an adult entertainment venue. "She's dancing in front of the camera, my God! It looks like a strip club with pregnant women," he exclaimed, his voice dripping with disbelief. Kyle highlighted what he saw as the complete absurdity of the situation. Here was someone who had repeatedly told the world they were fleeing the UK because they hated the press and wanted privacy, yet now she was dancing like a TikTok star in a delivery room. The irony was so thick you could cut it with a knife. His co-host Kinsey Schofield didn't hold back either, pointing out how far removed Meghan seemed from the dignity that royalty once demanded. "This isn't someone in labor," she stated flatly. "This is someone performing, selling something, selling herself." The performance had crossed a line from awkward into deeply disturbing territory. What made the criticism even more damaging was that it wasn't coming from tabloid journalists or online trolls. These were established media personalities with significant platforms, finally saying what many had been thinking but were afraid to voice publicly. As the video circulated, people began analyzing it frame by frame, and what they found was deeply troubling. The bump didn't look right. It was too low, moved strangely, and seemed to shift in ways that defied the laws of physics and human anatomy. Medical professionals, nurses, and mothers came forward across all platforms to say the same thing. Something looked fundamentally wrong. Healthcare workers were particularly vocal about the inconsistencies they observed. "This isn't a labor and delivery room," posted one nurse. "This isn't how a hospital bed should be positioned, and there's no IV line where there should be." Another stated categorically that what they were seeing wasn't a woman in labor. It was period drama material. The way the bump appeared under the dress raised even more red flags. Women who had carried full-term pregnancies couldn't relate to what they were seeing. One wrote, "That belly is too round and perfect. It looks like it came from Amazon." These weren't random internet trolls making baseless claims. These were people with medical training and personal experience calling out what they saw as obvious inconsistencies. The controversy dug up old footage that had previously been dismissed or ignored. Clips resurfaced where Meghan's belly appeared to fold awkwardly while sitting, videos where her hand pressed against her stomach, and the shape would change unnaturally. What had once been written off as unflattering camera angles or normal pregnancy variations suddenly seemed to support a much more troubling narrative. But the concern went far deeper than just whether Meghan was wearing a fake belly. In the UK, royal children must be born of the body to claim a place in the line of succession. If Meghan had hypothetically used a surrogate and kept it hidden, it wouldn't just be about deception. It could mean Archie and Lilibet aren't technically eligible for their royal titles or position in the succession line. This wasn't just tabloid material anymore. It was potentially a constitutional crisis disguised as celebrity drama. The implications were staggering. If the rumors had any basis in reality, it could invalidate not just the children's royal status, but call into question the entire integrity of the succession process. Legal experts who weighed in weren't just speculating about gossip. They were pointing out that this could represent a hidden constitutional crisis. The rules were clear. To remain in the royal line of succession, a child must be born of the royal body. A surrogate pregnancy, unless publicly disclosed and legally documented, could disqualify them entirely. The most chilling opinion came from Professor Norman Fenton, a mathematics professor fresh from court proceedings. He wasn't talking about emotions or appearances, he was talking about logic and probability. This bump doesn't behave like a real pregnancy, he stated clearly. It's inconsistent with what we know about full-term physical behavior. Meanwhile, mainstream media remained strangely quiet, while articles about Meghan's lovely birthday post for Lilibet remained pinned at the top of news websites. Nothing critical or challenging appeared. The silence became deafening because behind the scenes, reporters were texting sources, hunting for whistleblowers, and trying to verify whether the video was actually new or something Meghan had staged years ago and dusted off when attention was waning. What nobody could understand was the timing and strategy. If it was damage control, it had backfired spectacularly. If it was publicity, it worked for all the wrong reasons. The speculation transformed into something more organized as people began connecting dots that painted an increasingly disturbing picture. A growing number of voices began pushing for real consequences. Not just public shaming or mean tweets, but actual action from the royal institution. Online petitions gained momentum demanding that Buckingham Palace launch an inquiry. Some wanted the Sussex children removed from the royal website. Others called for immediate suspension of their titles until birth certificates and medical records could be verified. Then came the leaked rumor, unconfirmed but widely believed, that Prince Harry was considering reverting to his mother's maiden name, Spencer. That move alone sent shockwaves through the royal watching world. Was it damage control? Preventive distancing? The implications were enormous. Sources close to the royal family supposedly weren't amused. According to reports cited in royal gossip columns, King Charles was said to be deeply disappointed with the latest stunt. William, meanwhile, was reportedly less angry about the video itself, and more about the fact that it dragged the monarchy back into chaos just as he was trying to modernize its image. Some reports even claimed that Charles had privately referred to the video as a disgrace to everything his mother stood for. Royal biographers wasted no time updating ongoing book projects, with long-planned chapters being suddenly rewritten and theories explored more openly than ever before. The most surreal part of the entire saga was that Meghan never responded to any of it. No press release, no denial, no attempt to explain the video, not even a passive Instagram quote about ignoring the noise, just deafening silence. And in that silence, the theories grew louder and more detailed. As the dust settled, people weren't laughing anymore. The public mood had shifted from mockery to genuine discomfort. There was a persistent feeling that something wasn't right, and that the palace might be ignoring it to avoid more drama. But ignoring it wasn't making it go away. If anything, the silence was making people ask harder questions. The video controversy represented more than just an awkward social media moment. It became a turning point where many people stopped believing anything coming from that corner of the royal establishment. The damage to credibility was potentially irreversible, and the constitutional questions it raised weren't going away, just because everyone preferred to pretend they didn't exist. For years, rumors about Meghan's pregnancies had been dismissed as internet noise, conspiracy theories from the fringes that serious people didn't discuss. But this video changed the game entirely. When established media figures like Piers and Jeremy Kyle start openly questioning what they're seeing, when medical professionals begin pointing out obvious inconsistencies, when the visual evidence seems to contradict basic human anatomy, at what point does conspiracy theory become legitimate inquiry? The truth is, we may never get definitive answers to the questions this video has raised. The palace's strategy of silence might work in the short term, but it's doing nothing to address the fundamental trust issues that have emerged. And in the age of social media, where every frame can be analyzed and every inconsistency amplified, silence isn't golden, it's suspicious. What do you think? Are these legitimate concerns about constitutional protocol, or just another round of unfair targeting? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the stories the mainstream media won't touch. The rabbit hole goes deeper than you think, and we're just getting started.